What is going on, guys? NFL teams just can't help themselves. When a game-changing player enters free agency, how can you possibly resist the temptation of signing them to a marquee deal? You're not giving up key assets in a trade, and you're not being forced to spend valuable draft picks. It only costs you some money to land a notable player. But this is NFL free agency. Teams are always happy to pay way above market value for the guy they want. So who set the cash this time around? Here are 10 free agents that will be grossly overpaid this offseason. But first, a couple of honorable mentions. Phillip Rivers. Term won't be an issue with Rivers. Probably no more than 2 years. But teams are going to have to pay the declining Rivers a hefty price. We're talking about something close to $25 million annually. Rivers will help his next team compete for a playoff spot. Sure, that's fine. But this is a guy who threw 20 interceptions in 2019. And those 23 touchdown passes were the third fewest in a season in which Rivers was the full-time starter. Somebody will pay for Phillip Rivers the name rather than Phillip Rivers the past his prime 38-year-old quarterback. Such is life when teams get super desperate for a new signal caller. Kenyan Drake. Teams should know by now to never overspend on a running back. But someone is going to do it with Kenyan Drake, who enjoyed a tremendous second half with the Arizona Cardinals following a midseason trade from Miami. After recording just 174 yards with the Dolphins in 6 games, Drake broke out in Cliff Kingsbury's offense. In 8 games, Drake rushed for 643 yards and 8 touchdowns while averaging an unsustainable 5.2 yards per carry. Don't let one great half season fool you. Whoever signs Drake should do it for no more than 2 years. But we wouldn't be surprised if he got over $20 million on a 3 or 4 year deal. And now to the real list. Number 10, Robbie Anderson. If Amari Cooper doesn't hit the open market, then there will be a limited amount of quality wideouts available in free agency. That would bode well for Anderson. Less wideouts available on the open market means a receiver-desperate team will be more likely to overpay for him. Anderson has posted 50-plus receptions and 700-plus receiving yards in 3 consecutive years on a horrible New York Jets team, but he hasn't been able to repeat that career year from 2017, where he recorded 63 receptions for 941 yards and 7 touchdowns. Anderson had an excellent set of wheels and all, but he's proven to be better suited in a number 2 receiver role. Expect somebody to pay him like a number 1 though, because wide receivers always, and I mean always, get paid well above their true value. At most, Anderson should earn around $5 to $7 million on his next contract, but somebody's about to pay him $10 million plus per year. Did we mention he's not a number 1 receiver? Good luck to whoever overspends for Anderson. Number 9, Kyle Van Noy. After 2.5 unproductive seasons with the Lions, Van Noy's career changed for the better when he was traded to the Patriots during the 2016 season. He became an anchor for Bill Belichick's defense, helping them win 2 Super Bowl championships. Van Noy tuned in a career year in 2019, recording 6.5 sacks, 15 quarterback hits, and 3 forced fumbles. Aside from Stephon Gilmore, he was arguably New England's best defensive player in 2019, as the team finished number 1 in scoring defense. But maybe Van Noy was simply a product of the Patriots system. We've seen the same old story, where teams throw big dollars at key Patriots contributors, believing they'll reach similar success elsewhere. Well, ask Malcolm Butler, Dion Lewis, Nate Solder, and Darrelle Revis all about how that turned out for them. Van Noy was perfect for Belichick's defense, and now somebody is going to assume that'll have the same success on their squad. This athletic do-it-all linebacker will land a long-term deal that could pay him well over $10 million a season. Van Noy will probably price himself out of Foxborough, with the Patriots up against the cap. You can't blame him if he opts to chase the money, but don't say we didn't warn you if he fails to live up to his new contract. Number 8, Hunter Henry. There are only so many Pro Bowl caliber tight ends in today's NFL. That's why it's a great year to be a free agent tight end. After missing all of 2018, Hunter Henry showed signs of breaking out with the Los Angeles Chargers. He caught 55 passes for 652 yards and 5 touchdowns. But still, buyer beware. Sure, Henry has only been in the NFL for 4 years, so he will be entering his prime years, but he still hasn't displayed true superstar potential yet, and his injury history should be concerning to any interested teams. Because he's young and arguably a top 10 tight end, someone is probably going to give him something comparable to the 3-year $30 million deal Jimmy Graham signed with the Green Bay Packers in 2018. The Patriots, Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, Carolina Panthers, and Jacksonville Jaguars are among the teams that especially need help at tight end. That's why we wouldn't be surprised if somebody paid Henry like he's a top 5 player at the position. Number 7, Bud Dupree. The Kentucky product recorded 20 total sacks over his first 4 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. His production was steady, but nothing exactly mind-blowing, especially with TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward putting up big sack numbers on the Pittsburgh defensive line. Dupree picked the perfect time to break out. In a contract year, he finished 2019 with 11.5 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. Obviously tremendous production, but how do you know if he's a 1-year wonder, or if 2019 was actually a sign of what's to come? He was a primary fit in Keith Butler's defense. There is no guarantee that he'll achieve the same success on another team, but teams are always always willing to dish out huge sums of cash for pass rushers, even if they're not exactly Pro Bowlers. Look at Trey Flowers, who got $90 million from the Lions last season. That's why Dupree stands to land a 4 to 6 year deal worth $12 to $15 million a year, possibly even more. Number 6, Arik Armstead. After recording just 9 total sacks over his first 4 NFL seasons, the San Francisco 49ers 2015 first-round pick broke out in year 5. He tallied 10 sacks with 2 forced fumbles, 54 combined tackles, and 18 quarterback hits. Credit to Armstead for enjoying a career year while guiding San Francisco to a Super Bowl 54 appearance. But teams should focus on the guy who didn't do a whole lot in his first 4 seasons, and not the guy who benefited from playing on a star-studded team in year 5. I mean, the 49ers have the best defensive line in football. Nick Bosa, Dee Ford, and DeForest Buckner were commanding plenty of attention from the opposition, so this helped Armstead break through. Will he actually come close to double-digit sacks as the lead pass rusher elsewhere? The guess here is no, he won't. But like we said earlier, teams always overpay for pass rushing talent. So watch Armstead land a shiny new contract even after just 1 productive season. The 49ers won't regret letting him leave if they do, because even they probably know that he's not going to be worth all that money. Number 5, Joe Thuney. If you were an offensive lineman with the New England Patriots and you won a Super Bowl, congrats! A big contract awaits you. Just ask Nate Solder, who received $62 million from the New York Giants in 2018 despite never earning a Pro Bowl selection. Or ask Trent Brown, who received $66 million from the Raiders in 2019 after helping the Pats win Super Bowl 53. Veteran guard Joe Thuney should expect a similar contract, perhaps something even greater for what both Solder and Brown received. According to Pro Football Focus, Thuney was the 5th ranked guard for 2019, earning a grade of 77.4. He also received the 3rd best pass blocking grade at 87.4. Teams who are deeply involved with the analytics will want this guy. But again, how many guys have dominated as offensive linemen under Bill Belichick? The answer? Too many to count. Somebody's going to pay Thuney, and even if he performs nicely with his new team, he isn't going to be worth the $60 million plus that his new team's about to give him. Number 4, Tom Brady. If we could just ignore Tom Brady the name and all of his accomplishments, you'll understand why we have the future Hall of Famer on this list. Brady is coming off one of the worst statistical seasons of his career. You may want to blame the lack of quality playmakers around him, but Brady's decline began to take place during the 2018 season. Belichick surely noticed this and used him more as a game manager during their run to Super Bowl 53. Reports suggest that Brady isn't keen on taking another pay cut in Foxborough. If he hits free agency, you know a team like the Los Angeles Chargers, Chicago Bears, or Las Vegas Raiders will offer him the world. Even though Brady is no longer an MVP caliber quarterback, he's certainly going to land close to $30 million annually on his new deal, whether it comes from the Patriots or someone else. For a guy entering his age 43 season, that's going to be way too much. And there's going to be younger, cheaper, and more impactful quarterbacks out there. Why pay around $30 million a year for Brady when you can get Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater, Andy Dalton, or Marcus Mariota for much cheaper? Well, a team like the Chargers or Raiders would pay Brady for the sake of selling tickets while giving them a greater nationwide following. And even if Brady winds up taking a 1-year deal with the Patriots, you know Belichick will pay him nicely out of respect. Even though this is a guy who's probably worth no more than $15 or $20 million a season at this point in his career. Number 3, Byron Jones. This isn't the greatest free agent class in regards to corners, but Byron Jones is unquestionably the cream of the crop for this position. The 2018 Pro Bowler and 2nd team All-Pro is still relatively young too, so that ensures that he'll be paid handsomely in free agency. You can say this about a lot of positions, but cornerbacks are always overpaid in free agency. Logan Ryan, Malcolm Butler, Kareem Jackson, Steven Nelson, and Tremaine Johnson are recent examples of guys who got paid like true Pro Bowl corners when they're merely above average. Well, Jones is only a season removed from a career year. It's going to make him one of the highest paid corners in the game. A team with bundles of cap space, perhaps the Indianapolis Colts, New York Jets, or Miami Dolphins, may just end up giving Jones something in the neighborhood of $50 to $60 million over 4 or 5 years. Nothing against Jones, but having Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard as your defensive coaches certainly helps. That's why we expect Jones to underperform wherever he goes, after he gets paid well above his true value. Number 2, Anthony Harris. The 2019 free agent class was loaded with big-name safeties: Earl Thomas, Landon Collins, Tyrann Mathieu, LaMarcus Joyner, Eric Weddle, HaHa Clinton-Dix, and Adrian Amos. Well, the same cannot be said about the 2020 safety class. There simply aren't that many true game changers out there. So Anthony Harris of the Minnesota Vikings can expect a life-changing payday. Pro Football Focus ranked Harris as the 12th best player for the 2019 season, giving him an excellent 91.1 grade. Harris racked up 6 interceptions in his career year, along with 11 passes defended. But like other guys on this list, Harris is going to get paid as if he's a perennial All-Pro. What are the odds that Harris entering his age 29 season will continue that high level of play? He was an elite difference maker in 2019, sure, but the odds of Harris continuing that level of play as he nears his 30s is highly unlikely. Harris stands a chance of becoming the highest paid safety in the NFL. If he can build off of his 2019 season, he'll be worth it, but we're just not buying it. Some team will though. Number 1, AJ Green. On the one hand, who wouldn't want to pay big bucks for AJ Green? He's been one of the most consistent and dominant offensive playmakers this decade, with 6 1,000-yard seasons on his resume. If he can produce those numbers on a dysfunctional Cincinnati Bengals team, imagine what Green can do on a Super Bowl contender. That would be crazy. But Green was limited to 9 games with a toe injury in 2018. He didn't play at all in 2019 as Green spent time recovering from an ankle injury. And so Green will enter his age 32 season having not played in almost 2 full years. Most wide receivers experience a noticeable decline once they enter their 30s. And Green's recent injury history means he probably won't be an exception to this rule. 2020 marks Green's final chance to land a major contract, so it's easy to think that he won't settle on a 1-year pact. Somebody is going to have to give him at least a 3-year deal worth $10 million plus annually, and they're probably going to regret it. But I think if he's put in the right system, with good people running it, he could actually perform well. Green might end up just fine, and maybe he'll perform well in 2020, but it's hard to envision him playing at a Pro Bowl level throughout the entirety of his new deal. This is truly a buyer beware candidate, but plenty of GMs won't listen to us. There will be a bidding war, and someone will come away with one of the most overpaid free agents in 2020. Which other NFL free agents will be grossly overpaid in the 2020 offseason? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, whatever, social media. Go follow us. You know you want to. Your phone's in your hand. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click down below. And subscribe to TPS because we post videos every single day. Subscribe. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. Money.